Today I'm going to be describing the physics behind MRI imaging. In 1945, the first nuclear magnetic resonance was demonstrated. Nuclear magnetic resonance is founded upon the idea that the nucleus of atoms in a magnetic field resonate when a secondary oscillating magnetic field is applied. In 1969, Dr. Raymond Damian hypothesized that cancerous cells could be differentiated from non-cancerous ones using magnetic resonance. He theorized that cancerous cells hold more water and would show up in MR due to the increased number of hydrogen atoms in relation to the extra water. Damian performed an experiment with both cancerous and normal rats. In 1971, Paul Ladenburg observed the difference between cancerous and non-cancerous tissue. He imaged two water-filled test tubes using magnetic resonance, producing the first MR image. In 1972, Sir Peter Mansfield was studying chemical shift antistrophy. Mansfield realized that adding a magnetic field gradient could allow scientists to look at the atomic structure of a chemical. This method would allow scientists to create a three-dimensional image. Then all three scientists began to race to who would invent the first whole-body MRI scanner. In 1977, Damian created the first whole-body human scanner in May. What is an MRI? MRI is a magnetic resonance imaging that allows us to see inside the human body with great detail through the use of radio waves and magnets. This type of imaging does not use radiation like an X-ray or CT scan, but instead it uses essentially a giant magnet. A MRI uses magnetic fields and radio waves to measure how much water is within different tissues of the body, then maps the location of the water and uses this information to generate a detailed image. The strength of the magnet is measured in a unit called Tesla. Most MRI scanners used in hospitals and medical research clinics are 1.5 or 3 Teslas. Putting that into perspective, the Earth's magnetic field is around 0.0006 Tesla. A 3 Tesla MRI scanner is around 60,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. These images are so detailed because our bodies are made up of around 65% water, so we have a lot of signals to measure. The water molecule is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. The hydrogen atoms are the part that make water interesting for MRI, and what we use to measure the signal from the body when we do an MRI scan. Like the Earth spinning on its axis with a north and south magnetic pole, each spinning proton is like a tiny magnet that spins around on its own axis. The spinning motion is known as precession. At any moment in time, all billions of hydrogen protons in our body are all in random positions and spinning on their axes. The hydrogen nucleus contains one positive charge, and as a protein revolves around the nucleus on its axis, it acts like a tiny magnet. In the MRI scanner, the protons align with the B0 magnetic field. All the hydrogen protons almost cancel each other out, leaving only the magnetic field from the small portion of extra up protons. This small magnetic field is what we can measure using MRI. When an RF wave has the same frequency as protons, the precessional frequency is turned on and the up proton is flipped away from the B0 field, absorbing the RF energy. However, this randomness changes when we place a human body into a very strong magnetic field, like an MRI scanner. Just like a compass needle aligns to Earth's magnetic field, when these randomly spinning hydrogen protons are placed in the MRI scanner, their axes realign them with the scanner's stronger magnetic field. Radio frequency. If we think about our compass in the Earth's magnetic field pointing towards the North Pole, we make the needle rotate to point east if we place a small bar magnet next to the compass. This is similar to the way protons behave when we turn on the RF pulse. In order to distinguish the tiny magnetic field caused by the extra up protons, We use something called a radiofrequency pulse to disturb or flip all protons at the same time, out of alignment from the scanner's magnetic field. The frequency of RF pulse must be the same as the frequency of spinning hydrogen protons, so they can exchange energy, so they are a resonance. Resonance enables the protons to absorb enough energy from the RF pulse to rotate their axis away from the B0 field, so this MRI scanner can measure it. Sometimes the entire body is full of hydrogen-up protons, causing a strong magnetic field throughout the body. So in order to target only one specific part, for example the brain, we must apply a second magnetic field, B1, that varies across the body. Hydrogen protons in the head will be spinning faster than those in the chest, stomach, and feet. Then we tune the RF pulse to the precession frequency of the hydrogen protons in the head. The RF pulse will then only be resonant with the protons in the brain. Therefore, only the protons in the brain will absorb energy from the RF pulse and be flipped away from the B0 field. We can obviously tune our RF pulse to be resonant with protons in other parts of the body, like the feet, if we are interested in imaging the feet. Hydrogen protons in the head will be spinning faster than those in the feet. The different tissues, such as white matter, gray matter, and fluids in the body, give off different amounts of energy. To measure the energy emitted by protons in the brain when the RF pulse is turned off, we place a coil around the head. This technique can provide many different images of the brain, giving us information about how the brain is structurally connected, the information highways of the brain, the volume of gray matter regions of the brain, where information is processed, and how the brain is functionally connected, how different regions of the brain work together and communicate. Fourier transformation. A Fourier transformation is a mathematical transformation that decomposes a function into its continuate frequencies. The equation in the first picture is the simplest equation for waves of the same amplitude. But as the waves begin to vary in amplitude, the equations become more complex using the sum of sine and cosine to increase frequency. And this right here, gt equals 1 plus 2 sine times 2 pi feet, is the main equation used. But as I said, it gets more complex and it starts to vary with the sum of sine and cosine depending on the amplitudes. To obtain the image, obtaining the image. If we think of our compass again, when we move our small bar needle away, the needle will rotate from east to north and align with the Earth's magnetic field once more. When the radio frequency pulse is turned off, the protons flip back and realign along the main magnetic field, B0. As the protons flip back and realign with B0, they give off energy. Different tissues in the body also give off different amounts of energy. To measure this emitted energy, it requires a special coil that is placed around the part of the body we are imaging. The coil acts as an antenna and detects the released energy as an electrical current. The electrical current is transformed by computer using the Fourier transformation. Because protons in the different kinds of tissues of the brain, such as gray matter, white matter, and blood, all give off different amounts of energy, the result of the transformed energy is a highly detailed image of the tissue inside the brain. So this is what is used as the coil to image the body, and it detects like the levels of energy and everything. And this person is going in feet first because they're getting the images of like the lower part of the body. And then this is the same machine, but he's going in head first to get images of the brain. And this is what the CT scans actually look like. Or not CT scans, MRI scans. Overall, the MRI is a very beneficial invention that has been very beneficial with the proper precautions with scanning a patient. The MRI allows doctors to gain a better understanding of the body because of the detailed images, as well as allowing better care for patients. This Advanced technology allows for diagnoses of conditions and diseases that cannot be seen from the skin, and without the use of MRI may never be found. So MRI scans focus on fat, water, muscle, and tissue within the body. They allow for doctors to diagnose a wide variety of conditions and diseases. Patients are not exposed to radiation, unlike during X-rays, but because of the static magnetic field, it will attract magnetic objects that can damage the scanner, patient, or doctor. The scanner creates loud noises that may harm hearing if the proper protection is not worn. The radio frequency energy can lead to heating of the body. Patients must remain very still while being scanned in order for the scan to work, and patients may also find the machine to be small and feel claustrophobic. But when the proper precautions are taken, the scans are very beneficial in the medical field, because without these scans, you wouldn't be able to diagnose certain conditions and diseases. And that's all.